Background: Speaker 1 inhales. The U.S. Department of Defense spent over a year testing a device worth tens of millions of dollars, which, according to media reports, may be linked to the so-called Havana syndrome, the mysterious health issues experienced by American diplomats, military personnel, and intelligence officers. CNN reports that Russian-made components were found in the equipment, although there is no direct connection to Russia. The device was purchased covertly at the end of Joe Biden's administration and is still under study. Political analyst Taras Berazovets stated that the device was bought with Pentagon funds.
However, it is not an entirely Russian development, but it is connected, among other things, to the actions of the GRU.
The political analyst also said that there is information suggesting that this device may have been used in Moscow in 2017.
We are talking about at least several dozen affected American diplomats. So it's some kind of weapon that causes problems with psychosomatics, an external influence that uses certain technologies which, again, are not fully understood. But this is about deliberate actions by the Russian special services.
The so-called Havana syndrome was first discussed in 2016 after complaints from American diplomats in Cuba. Later, similar cases were recorded in various countries around the world, which led the U.S. to consider the possibility of a targeted attack. On January 12th, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt released the testimony of a witness who claimed that during the operation to capture Nicolas Maduro, American military forces may have used an unknown sonic or energy weapon. According to him, before the operation began, the radars failed, after which drones and helicopters carrying special forces appeared. The witness also reported the use of a certain technology, the effect of which resembled a powerful sonic attack. In a comment to the New York Post, a former U.S. intelligence officer noted that the United States has long had developments capable of causing such syndromes and did not rule out that this could have been their first combat use.
On January 15th, an explosion occurred at the Professional Training Center of the Ministry of Internal Affairs in Syktyvkar, Russia. According to Telegram channels, preliminary reports indicate that a flashbang grenade exploded. This was followed by the explosion of a gas cylinder, which caused a fire to break out. According to another version, the explosion happened during construction work. The Telegram channel MASH reports that the bang was heard at around 12:25. About 200 people who were in the building were evacuated. At least 10 people were injured in the explosion. According to the Telegram channel shot, 3 people in serious condition have been hospitalized. The Telegram channel Baza notes that in the first minutes after the explosion, the workers themselves evacuated the injured. They pulled them out through a window and laid them on the scaffolding. The Ministry of Emergency Situations reported that the fire has been contained within an area of 340 square meters. The press service of the Regional Ministry of Internal Affairs stated that an investigation is being conducted into the fire on the roof of the departmental educational institution. Meanwhile, in Kamchatka, 2 people have died due to a snow cyclone. According to the Telegram channel Baza, an avalanche from a private house buried its 62-year-old resident who was unable to escape. Medics and rescuers arrived at the scene, but the man had died. A 60-year-old resident of Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky also became a victim of the avalanche. Snow fell on him from the roof of a 2-story house. According to media reports, piles of snow and ice are burying houses and cars throughout the region, leaving people trapped. An avalanche warning has been declared in Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky. Sirens are wailing in the city. Drones attacked the Nevinomysk Azot chemical plant in the Stavropol region of Russia. According to Telegram channels, this happened on the evening of January 14th. The governor of the Stavropol region, Vladimir Vladimirov, reported that drones attacked the industrial zone in Nevinomysk. According to him, as a result of drone debris falling, a warehouse on the outskirts of the city and several parked cars caught fire. Residents of several houses near where the drone debris fell were evacuated. According to an analysis by the Telegram channel Astra, the largest chemical plant, Nevinomysk Azot, was attacked. Previously, the plant had been attacked at least 4 times. The facility produces acetic and nitric acid, which are used to manufacture oxygen and hexogen, and those in turn are used for artillery shells. On January 13th, a drone manufacturing facility in Taganrog, Russia, was attacked. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine reported that Ukrainian defense forces struck the Atlant Aero facility with domestically produced missiles. The plant is engaged in the full cycle of development, production, and testing of Molniya-type strike and reconnaissance drones, as well as components for Orion drones. Satellite images indicate that several buildings on the territory of the Atlant Aero plant were destroyed after the attack. In the wake of the drone attack in Taganrog, a state of emergency was declared at 2 enterprises, 2 apartment buildings, and an educational institution.
More than 100,000 residents in 133 settlements in Dagestan were left without electricity due to wet snow and strong winds. In the village of Tepik, the roof of the magistrates' court building was blown off. The regional branch of the Ministry of Emergency Situations reported on the situation in Dagestan. According to the agency, the accident affected nearly 22,000 homes. Due to worsening weather and strong winds, some districts of Vladikavkaz and several settlements in North Ossetia were also left without electricity. In Kaspisk, residents of apartment buildings on several streets have been without central water supply for more than a week. According to local media, garbage is also not being collected in the city.
I want everyone involved, everyone who isn't doing their job, to be held accountable. If they can't do their jobs, let them step down, leave, and give the opportunity to those who can get things done.
Residents of Moscow and the region are also complaining about the utilities crisis and the authorities' inaction. Icicles reach all the way to the asphalt, roads are blocked by snowdrifts, and you can barely see the sidewalks. Meanwhile, in the far east, the snowdrifts are already taller than people. Kamchatka has been getting buried in snow since January 12th. The region is almost paralyzed.
At present, an emergency commission is being convened for the Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky urban district. The issue of introducing a partial state of emergency in the city is being considered.
Mountains of snow and ice are piling up on houses and cars. People are trapped in their homes. Chunks of ice are falling from the roofs. Snowdrifts are reaching the second floor. It is known that 2 people have already died in Kamchatka from snow sliding off roofs.
Today, in Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky, there was a second incident in a day of snow masses sliding off roofs onto a person. This time it happened in a private sector, a single-story house. Snow slid off the roof and buried a man born in 1963.
To transport citizens in Kamchatka, Rosgvardia paddy wagons and the authorities' vehicle fleet have been deployed. US President Donald Trump stated that it is Ukraine, not Russia, that is hindering the conclusion of a potential peace agreement. In an interview with Reuters, he said that the leader of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, is allegedly ready to end the war.
I think he is ready to make a deal. I think Ukraine is less ready to make a deal.
When asked why US-led negotiations have so far failed to end the largest land conflict in Europe since World War II, Trump replied, Zelensky.
We need to persuade President Zelensky to support this.
As for why he thinks the Ukrainian president is delaying the negotiations, Trump did not go into detail. He only said, I just think that, it's hard for him to get his way. Political analyst and Ukrainian Armed Forces serviceman Kirilo Sazonov commented on the US president's statements and said that Donald Trump is very much mistaken.
Putin believes that if not on the front, if they don't capture the Donetsk region by April 1st, as he has set as a goal, then at the very least maybe he can freeze the Ukrainians, divide them, make them quarrel with each other, and force them to capitulate.
In addition, Trump told Reuters that he knows nothing about the potential upcoming trip of Witkoff and Kushner to Moscow, which had previously been reported by Bloomberg. When asked whether he would meet with Zelensky at the World Economic Forum in Switzerland next week, Trump answered in the affirmative but hinted that there are no plans yet.
I would meet with him if he is there.
It was previously reported that at the meeting in Davos, Zelensky and Trump are expected to sign an agreement on prosperity and post-war reconstruction of Ukraine worth $800 billion. At the same time, President Zelensky stated that Ukraine hopes to receive Russia's response to the 20-point peace plan by the end of this month.
US President Donald Trump is not giving up on his plans for Greenland. While speaking with journalists at the White House, he stated that the US needs Greenland to ensure national security, and that Denmark cannot be a reliable guarantor of the island's protection.
Greenland is very important for national security, including for Denmark. The problem is that Denmark can't do anything if Russia or China decide to occupy Greenland. But we can do whatever we want. You saw that last week with Venezuela.
The United States' plans for Greenland have alarmed Kremlin officials. Russian State Duma senator and former Russian representative to NATO Dmitry Rogozin stated, Trump allegedly wants to deploy his nuclear strike forces on the world's largest island in order to secure nuclear superiority over Russia and China. According to him, the deployment of U.S. nuclear weapons in Greenland would not lead to American dominance, but to the end of the world. Meanwhile, 3 NATO countries, Germany, Sweden, and Norway, will send their military personnel to Greenland amid U.S. claims to the Arctic island. According to Reuters, Germany will send 13 soldiers to Greenland as reconnaissance troops. Earlier, the German Ministry of Defense reported that the reconnaissance mission at the invitation of Denmark will take place from January 15th to 17th. Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson announced that several officers will be sent to Greenland. Norwegian Defense Minister Tore Sandvik stated that Norway will send 2 of its soldiers. It is also known that the United Kingdom has sent a military officer to Greenland, joining the increased military presence in Denmark.